All set. Call
All
today's
set.
meeting to order. Today is June 18th, 2020, 8 a.m. Call the meeting to order. Item 2 on the agenda is the public hearing for the FY21 COLA. Open it up to the boards, questions, concerns, or if I can get a motion. Dan Sherman, anything?
Well, yeah, this is tough. Because we know that we're going to have some reductions in our income for the year. We're asking, departments, schools, and DPW to cut back. Our capital's being cut back, and so I'm really torn as to whether we should continue to do the 3% COLA or something else. I didn't have a chance to look at, go back and say what the Social Security increase was at PARAC had sent out a memo. Does either Kathy or Sherry, do you recall what the percentage was that was announced back in January?
1.6.
1.6?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm struggling. I don't know if the right answer is 0, 1.6, or 3.0, as we have been doing. This virus has really shaken everything that we've been trying to do and trying to go forward with. So I'd be happy to hear inputs from others and what other people are thinking about the COLA increase.
Okay. Sherry, anything? Your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Dan also. The town, was asking all the departments to, cut. So, yeah, I agree with Dan.
Joe, anything you'd like to add?
Looks like he's still muted. Joe, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'm just really sympathetic to the fact that the retirees are all on fixed incomes and they really rely on getting that COLA. So I, if there's any way that we can do the normal COLA that you all normally do, I'd like to see us go in that direction. But I certainly understand what Dan's saying. He has a better handle on the financial end of it than certainly I do, being on the finance committee. So that's all I got to add.
Dennis, you'd like to add anything?
I actually was going to kind of mimic what Joe just said, actually. Same thing. I'm not distrusting what Dan is seeing, but same thing whenever dealing with having to cut anything that with retirees, if they're not all financially solid and sound. Some are a lot more than others, but and concerns for the ones that are not. But if it has to be that way, then we do it.
Okay. My thoughts on the COLA for the retirees. With regards to Social Security, the 1.6% is on their full amount. So with retirees, it's capped at $14,000. So was it work out to $420 a year? I understand people working on fixed incomes, they do rely on those increases for the full increase of 3%. When we talk about the town, we have to cut back in some areas. But when you look at the COLAs received by the various unions, those haven't been cut. They be it a 1.5% each year for a total of approximately 3%. The active employees are getting it. I would look and say, the retirees should get it also. we talk about, we had to cut $400,000 from the school department. Well, the school department budget is still going up 4% in fiscal 21. So it isn't really like people are taking a haircut on the active side. And, I wouldn't want to see that for the retirees either. So, those are my thoughts. I would feel the 3% on the 14,000, the retirees should get that.
I would second that.
Well, so
Any thoughts?
Kevin, was that a motion?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Either it was or it wasn't.
I know.
I didn't know if it was both. I was just supportive of what I agree with Kevin.
Okay. You have to be careful what you say around here.
Definitely.
So I would move the 3% on the 14,000.
That's your motion, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
Second. Discussion. We'll go around the table. Dan Sherman?
No, I'm all set.
No, as in discussion.
No,
Okay. Sherry? Discussion?
No discussion.
Okay. Sherry, discussion?
No discussion.
Joe, any other further discussion?
No, sir.
Dennis?
Nope.
I'm all set. So all in favor, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Thank you all. Moving on to item 3, public engagement. Sherry, do we have any public engagement?
No, I wasn't notified of anything. Kathy, were you?
Nothing.
Perfect.
All right.
We're good.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
Great.
Item 4, Prim. We have Paul here today to give us an update on Prim status. We also have, I think, was that Emily?
Yes.
Yes.
Emily is on the line also.
Welcome.
Welcome all.
Thank
Paul,
Thank
we'll
you.
open it up to you. Give us some good news.
I do have some good news, although it doesn't reflect it in your book because that's through March 31. But I thought it would be helpful to talk about March 31 and where we're at today in terms of performance and kind of like the rebound from the lows of March. But first, I just want to thank you all for having us here today via Zoom. We've been doing a lot of meetings like this, not only with other systems, but of course within Prim. And our board meetings have been on Zoom and have been open to all. We've been notifying our systems and of every meeting that we've had, our committee meetings, and our board meeting. We've had actually 4 committee meetings since March and 1 board meeting. So I hope you were able to tune in to some of those meetings. If not, we do have some of the slides that are in your book today, or some of the things we discussed. A couple of them are a little bit dated, but I thought it would just be helpful for us to share that with you to see what the board has been looking at in terms of some of the effects of COVID and on the portfolio and on the economy in general. So before I begin too, I'd like to just say Francesco Daniele could not be with us this morning. He has some family matters to attend to, and he sends his regards to all. He's disappointed he was unable to be here today for this. But I'd also like to introduce Emily Green. Emily joined us in November as a client service analyst. She's been doing a great job for us, really filling out the team. And Emily, if you want to just say a couple of words about yourself before we get started, that'd be great.
Sure. Good morning. Thanks for having us, echoing what Paul said. So I joined the team at Prim in November. I'm really excited to be here. My passion has been in client service. My prior job was a vice president of institutional equity sales at an investment bank, Stevens, in Boston. So I provided stock ideas and client service and support to portfolio managers and analysts at Boston Mutual Funds. I'm really happy to be focusing more on client service here at Prim. So excited to join you guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily. And also just want to bring up to date first, we'll talk about some organizational issues first, and then I'll get into some of the other slides that I referred to earlier. Prim as an organization is 100% functional right now. We're all working remotely. We haven't been back in the office. Some people are kind of, trickling back here and there. But, we're following the CDC guidance. We're following the governor's guidance. We're setting up the office for an eventual return to the office I think a staggered fashion. But, suffice it to say, we've done pretty well in terms of working remotely. If anything, I think the silver lining in all of this has been that, our board and committee meetings have really generated a lot of interest, and people who normally wouldn't be able to attend one of the meetings physically if they had to come into Boston are able just to get online and sit in for the meeting. So, if you've taken advantage of that opportunity, thank you. If not, we'll probably continue to meet, virtually for the near future. As things roll out, we'll see. Everything is data dependent, so we'll see how it goes. But we are fully functioning, and I think that's something we've already communicated to all of you in our recent newsletter and in the webinar that Michael Trotsky did at the end of March, which proved to be kind of prescient because, we did want to talk about what was going on with COVID. There is a webinar that's currently on our website, but more importantly, it's on PERAC's website. And PERAC is awarding 3 educational credits just to view this webinar. I think you probably got, Kathy, a memo from PERAC on that a while back. But if you need the link to it, I'll be happy to send you the link. But if you haven't already gotten on there, get your 3 credits. It's real easy to do, and it's a great benefit. So we're happy that we're able to provide that. Kathy, you controlling who's controlling it?
Yeah, I got it up there, Paul.
Sherry, you're doing. Okay,
Yep.
could you just quickly turn to slide, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Slide 8 and 9. And
Which
these two slides, slides 8 and 9, well, yeah, on my book, it's the organizational chart.
Okay. Yeah, because my book is going to be a little different.
So yours would be 10 and 11. Yours
Okay,
would be
great.
10 and 11. Yeah, so this is the org chart for Prim. And, even though we have been out of the office, we've hired 4 new people join Prim during this period. And not all of them have been in the office yet, altogether at least. But we're happy to report that we have Beth Herlihy, who joined Prim as our Director of Communications. She reports directly to Michael Trotsky, who's our Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer. She's had extensive communications experience. She served as the Head of Marketing Communications of AEW Capital Management for 12 years. AEW is a real estate manager here in Boston, one of our managers, a long-standing manager at Prim. She left AEW in 2016 to attend graduate school full-time. She's worked as a marketing communications consultant, and her most recent assignment was with Advent International, which is also one of our private equity managers. She has more than 20 years experience in strategic marketing, public relations, branding, investor communications, et cetera, et cetera. She holds her bachelor's degree in political science from UVM, University of Vermont, and a master's in fine arts in creative writing from Emerson. We also had Silas Owoyemi join Prim at our help desk as our operational support specialist. He reports to Dave Griswold, who's the head of our IT department. And Silas previously worked as a network engineer at Ocean Spray, where he was responsible for planning and maintaining the data network and associated infrastructure there. And prior to that, he was a senior support specialist at Alchemy's biopharmaceutical. That is a mouthful company. And he has a Bachelor of Science in Math from the University of Ilorin in Nigeria. Also, on the investment side, Joyce Seth joined Prim as an investment officer working on our portfolio completion strategies team. Now, just to define portfolio completion strategies, again, it's a bucket of investments that are not correlated to equities primarily and are more low volatility in nature. About 87% of that portfolio is our hedge funds, but we also have some real assets in that portfolio as well, and risk premia investments, which is a kind of a low volatility hedge fund type investment. So Joy will be working there. You know, he previously worked as a senior investment analyst at the Texas retirement system and the employees retirement system. He built machine learning models and developed backtest engines for option-based strategies. And that's very helpful for us because we do have some option strategies within our domestic equity portfolio called the put spread collar, which he'll be working on as well. So prior to that, he was an engineer at Microsoft. He also graduated from the University of Washington, Seattle, with a master's in science and computational finance. He has a Bachelor of Science in electrical and computer engineering from U of T in Austin. And finally, Michelle Witkus joined Prim as our Director of Human Resources. And she reports to Tony Falzone, who's our Chief Operating Officer. Michelle brings extensive and varied human resources experiences to Prim. She previously worked at Beacon Health Options. It's called Anthem Inc. as the Vice President, Human Resources at an Enterprise LLC. She was Director of Human Resources there. She's been responsible for all HR-related functions, from strategic HR leadership to tactical employee support. And she has a bachelor's degree in human services. That's where I got mixed up, in psychology from UMass Amherst. So we're happy to have them on there. You can see even during this time, we've been very busy onboarding new folks. As a matter of fact, I was just notified yesterday that we have an intern working on the real estate side for the summer. So a lot going on at Prim. And at our most recent board meeting, we approved $1.3 billion in new investments. So that's a lot of activity given you know, what's been going on in the world these days. So we're very pleased at the progress we've made, and I hope you are too. So let's go. I'd like to turn kind of, let's see, forward to slide 11 in my book, but it's probably slide 13 in your book. And and this is just a chart that we used when we had our interim investment committee meeting back in March to kind of give a sense as the most recent decline because of COVID and how it compares to other major crises in the markets historically. So as you can see, the big dark black line there shows it was a very quick, deep decline in March, down 34% the S&P was in 20 days. And then it took 20 days for it to bounce back. Now, saying that, we've seen, you know, increased gains in the S&P since the low point, since the trough of 34%. But, you know, there's still a lot of volatility out there. This is not an indicator of what we predict, because we don't predict at Prim, as I think you know, what the market's going to do. But right now, it looks like a classic V-shaped recovery. That could change at any moment. We saw last week how, because of fears of a second or rising coronavirus rates around the country, spooked the markets. And there was a huge drop last Thursday. It had since rebounded. It was down a little bit yesterday, but all in all, the gains have been up about 30% or so since that drop back in March. And you can see how it compares to some of the other crises, the 1987 crash, if you will. The S&P 500 was down 27%, and it recovered over a period of time. Of course, the Dow Jones, the big crash in 1929, you saw it drop 48%, and it took a long time to recover. Same with 2008. We had a huge drop to 46% in the S&P, and then it took a while to get back. But so that's where this differs from other crises. But you know, I just wanted to point that out. The other charts here that follow really just you know, again, they're a little bit dated, but it just gives you a sense of what the board was looking at in March when we held this meeting.
Hey,
in
Paul?
April, I should say.
Paul?
Yes. Yeah,
Paul,
Dan.
a quick question. On the last chart, I'm curious, what does the acronym GFC stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry. Global financial crisis.
Ah, global.
So sorry. Yeah, global financial crisis.
Okay,
You know, all
thank
this
you.
alphabet soup sometimes you take for granted, but thank you for making me clarify that. Yeah, it's those are dark times, 12 years ago. So if we move on, let's just get right into performance through March, and then I'll update you to most recent. And just as a note, today you should be receiving your May statements, which will show some more positive returns. April and May were both positive, so we're digging out of the hole. So I just want to show you the first quarter, and on slide 19 in your book. I guess you got two slides ahead of me on my presentation book. So slide 19 on your book. You can see the first quarter returns of the PRIT fund in that gold bar, and then the asset classes that also how they performed. And you can see that the strength for the quarter was in bonds primarily. U.S. strips, those are long duration treasuries, and those performed very well for the quarter. You know, as the markets were tumbling, yields were falling, and flight to quality was evident, and long duration bonds were the leader in those returns. Very similar to what happened in 2008. The only positive performer in 2008, you know, were long duration bonds. So kind of history, not repeating itself, but rhyming, as Mark Twain would say. So you can see for the quarter, Prim was down 9.9%, let's say 10%. And what else were the contributors? Well, private equity. Now you'd say, wow, all the equities are falling. Why was private equity up 5.9% for the quarter? Well, we value our private equity 1 quarter in arrears. So what you're seeing there are valuations as of 12/31/19, not as of 3/31/20, which is when this reporting period is. That's the way it's always been with this particular asset class. It's always 1 quarter in arrears. Now, what is going to be the impact on private equity over the next couple of quarters? I think we're already seeing, as we're about to end the second quarter, our June 30 valuation for private equity will be as of 3/31. So we're probably going to see, you know, a decrease in the portfolio of about 9% for this coming quarter. That's just an estimate that the folks have come up with that. But I just wanted to make you aware of that when you see June 30 numbers, that private equity number will be valued as of 3/31. Now, as equity markets have come back, and they have, not if you look at this chart, obviously, but in the subsequent months of April and May and through June, we've seen equity markets come back. That will have a positive impact on private equity, but there'll be a lag in that as well. But just wanted to prepare you for that. So again, on the right-hand side, the left-hand side of that chart, before the PRIT fund return, you can see that, the contributors were bonds, private debt, inflation-linked bonds. Timberland was off, real estate was off only because of REITs in that portfolio. Our private real estate actually, was positive. The portfolio completion strategies, again, I told you 87% of that are hedge funds, not correlated to equities. So you can see they did outperform the fund and did outperform equities across the board. On the right-hand side, the worst performers for the first quarter were U.S. small and mid-cap stocks. And ironically, in the subsequent quarter from April on, it's been the small and mid-cap stocks that have been leading the rebound, although large caps have done well since then too. But this gives you a sense. And also, we always like to kind of throw in a little hypothetical portfolio as a means of comparison. The classic 60% global equities, 40% investment grade bonds, the Barclays Ag, the ACWI Barclays Ag. For the quarter, had we just been 60% equities and 40% bonds, and I mean global equities, we would have been down 11.6. And I think compared to some of our peers, our performance was probably in the top half of public pension fund peers in the first quarter. So even though that 9.9% negative is ugly looking, it actually, on a relative basis, we fared pretty well. And we believe because we've been, lowering our overall exposure to equities, as you know, over the last 5 years. So let's go to the next slide, slide 18.
Paul,
Slide
Paul,
20.
can I ask,
Sure.
Paul, can I ask a
Kevin.
quick question?
Of course.
Sherry, can you go to slide 16? No, that's not the one. Maybe it's slide 18.
Is that the one with the,
No,
Yeah.
I'm looking for the one that has the total PRIT fund currently at like $70 billion.
right,
Oh,
that's slide 18, I believe, in your book.
yep, that's the slide we're on is 18.
Slide we're on.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
But that only goes up through fiscal. Oh, I can't see that.
That's as of 3/31. We are probably as of today, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
So my question was, so the high was, say, in last year about 74 billion. Now it's down to 70 billion.
Well, it's actually more than that now. This is as of 3/31.
Okay.
We're probably at about 75 billion right now,
Okay. Because
maybe more. Yeah.
by looking at this slide, you're off your all-time high by about 6% going from 18 to 19 and 19 to 20.
Yeah, those are fiscal year ends. Yeah.
But then with regards to Wakefield, our all-time high in our fund was about 134 million. We're down to 118 million now. So we're down about 12%. So is the arrears that you're talking about showing up on this slide here? Is
Yeah,
that
let's that's fiscal year. At the end of February,
Yeah.
the fund was at about 78 billion. So
billion? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just
Okay.
fiscal years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I thought. There were some big swings there over a
Right.
short period of time.
I
So
get you.
I just want to make sure that.
Yep. No,
Okay. Thank you.
you're very welcome. So let's see. So let's actually slide 20, which we were just on. This is the 1 year ended March 31, the trailing 12 months. It kind of looks a little bit like your the quarter, and in terms of the contributors and the detractors. So I won't get into it in any more detail than that. Just the PRIT fund had a negative 1.2% return for March 31, 1 year ended, and you can see again, strips and private equity were big contributors to that return. So it really doesn't, it's not that much different in terms of what asset classes worked and which ones didn't. during, and this is all because of the first quarter of 2020. We go to slide 21, please. This just shows you the 1, 3, 5, and 10-year returns of the PRIT fund versus our benchmark for ending March. The good news here is that our fund did outperform its policy benchmark for all of these periods, even the first quarter. Again, for the 1 year, obviously the first quarter had an effect. That's why we're negative. I think it's important to take a look at the 10-year number at 7.5%. Even with that dip in March, we're still, you know, in the sweet spot in terms of PRIT's actuarial return assumption that's mandated on of 7.25%. So, and you know, since that time, we've seen that those numbers improve. But this is a snapshot in time, and you know, we just thought that that's good information for you to say. On the next slide, this just basically shows you the 1-year returns versus of the major asset classes versus their various benchmarks. And private equity, we always measure against itself on the short term. Over the long term, we want to beat public equities by about 300 basis points. And over historically, we've done that. But private equity did lead the way for the 1 year, followed by fixed income and real estate, timber, portfolio completion strategies, value-added fixed income, and global equities were the last in that list. Slides 23 and 24 show you our global equity performance for the 1 year ended March 31. Again, very similar to what we saw in some of the other slides. It just breaks it down a little bit more. Fixed income on slide 24, same story here. You can see where the strong performers were in terms of the long duration bonds. On the next slide, which would be 25 in your book, we have the quilt chart that shows the 1, 3, 5, and 10-year returns. Private equity leading the way through all of that. Global equity all over the map, very volatile, but we, you know, obviously in the 1, 3, 5, the 1 and 3 year periods, core fixed income, you know, was one of the leading return contributors, and just because of what happened in the first quarter of this year. So that kind of sums that up. I do want to just refer now to, let's turn to slide 29 in your book. And this shows you our asset allocation, which was approved at our February 26, 2020 meeting. And there is no change in our asset allocation from 2019. We made no changes from the prior year. You know, we feel that, you know, we're well positioned at this point. And, you know, I think it's kind of good news to know that we're staying the course, being consistent. We're long-term investors. We don't make any tactical decisions, but you can see what we've done here that's a little bit different than the way we've displayed this in the past. Usually we show a target allocation number, a single number. Well, what we've decided to do here is, and you can see by the note at the bottom of this, is use ranges, use bands to have around a midpoint. So for instance, global equity is at 34 to 44%. The midpoint there is 39%. So we have a plus or minus 5% on each side of that. And that's very important because when we rebalance our portfolio, we don't want to go outside of those bands. So that's why we you know, it's just more practical to manage the asset allocation within ranges than just trying to always hit a fixed target every month. So I just wanted to give you that update there. On slide 28, this is the annual NEPC capital, I'm sorry, slide 30, for you, sorry. Slide 30. The NEPC capital market assumptions that they provide for us each year, because we do review our asset allocation annually. And this is what they expect to see in terms of long-term returns for the individual asset classes and for the total fund expected returns.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, Dan.
So I want to take a moment here on, because this is the slide I focused on
Right.
extensively. And one of the things I've noticed is that that you have been, or the prim has been getting more conservative, and the expected returns have been dropping. And I guess my concern is for every 1 basis points that this fund does not earn, that means taxpayers have to pick it up. And my concern is on the PCS, that percentage being as high as it is in terms of the range, the 8% to 14%, and looking at the performance of PCS over the last 10 years has been below the 5, for example, the 5.8 that you have there. Looking, when we get to the PCS page, it's only about 3.5% is over the last 10 years. So I guess I'm just concerned of having that much dedicated to something that's been only earning 3.5%. I would like to see some of that money get moved into the global equity markets where the returns are more than 5.8%. That just seems too low to me. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I don't want to see us get too conservative, because it just, like I say, every dollar that the investments don't earn, it means taxpayers have to pick up.
Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, we're sensitive to that too, because, we're working for the taxpayers of Massachusetts as well. And I think that, in terms of PCS, that 10-year number, we didn't have a PCS bucket 10 years ago. What we had were hedge funds. So what you're seeing is a legacy, return from the initial hedge fund portfolio. And then we started building on the hedge funds. Because let's see, what's this, 2020, over the last 10 years, Michael Trotsky came on board in 2010. And we at that time were all fund of funds. It was high, high cost fund of fund hedge funds. And then when Michael came on board, we started to invest. We got rid of 4 out of the 5 fund of funds and started to invest in commingled accounts with single hedge fund managers. And then we moved to separate accounts. So we weren't in a commingled fund. But so we've seen an evolution with PCS over the years. But for the majority of those 10 years, it's been hedge funds. And hedge funds have had spotty returns. We use hedge funds not to a way to get outsized returns like we do with private equity, but we use it as a buffer against downturns in equities. All of those investments in that portfolio are non-correlated equities. And for the first quarter, I think when that slide I showed you earlier, PCS actually outperformed, it was down like say over 7%, outperformed equities pretty substantially. So that did help us in the first quarter. So that's just to give you the theory as to why we're doing that, Dan. I appreciate what you're saying, because, obviously, let's face it, in the last 10 years, U.S. equities have outperformed all other markets.
Yeah. No, I guess
outperformed international and all that. So.
No, I understand that part, but if I look at just page 30 or your page 28,
yeah,
on a 30-year return, it's at the bottom of what I would call equity-based investments. So if it's at 5.8, 18 to 14% just seems too high for it, that particular bucket, because it's a long-term expectation is 5.8. I mean,
Right.
I'd move it into, even real estate. I mean, that's an extra 30 bips, or value-added fixed income. That's another, 10 bips. So it's like
Right.
anything we can do to move it up,
Yeah.
or move that part down and reallocate to other areas that have higher expected returns. That's all I'm saying. I
Yeah.
understand what
Well,
hedge
no,
funds are all about.
your point is well taken. And, before the crisis, before all this thing happened, just so you know, I mean, we're thinking about that too at Prim. As a matter of fact, the strategy team, which, deals with our asset allocation and also, oversees the portfolio completion strategies, they've been looking at putting together a playbook as to when do we maybe increase global equity. So it's not off the table. It's something that's really being discussed. Obviously, this past year has kind of set a lot of things back in terms of some of our initiatives. But that's something that we're seriously looking at too, Dan. So just so you know, this is not the end all and be all. This is, what we feel now is appropriate for the fund. I understand what you're saying. Again, these just assume market rates of return. It doesn't assume the fact that we may be, over time outperforming these expected returns. These are just based on, if we just hit market rates of return, then that's what we're going to get. So,
Right.
And historically, over the last 30 plus years, our fund is over, the PRIT fund itself is over 9%. And fortunately, Wakefield has, participated in most of that since you came in 85.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So it's all, but I hear what you're saying. And it's not something we're not inflexible. We're, that's something we are looking at as well. So
One question. I'm assuming this was prepared by NEPC in January, February timeframe?
January.
Yeah, January. So it would be interesting, I'm sure you don't have the answer to this, but I know that since there's been quite a downturn since January, that I would expect if you ask NEPC to prepare this chart today, these numbers would actually be higher because we're now starting at a lower spot, and the 7.3 might be 7.4 if NEPC did it today. But
and I mean, and they will do it again. Well, this is June. They'll do it again towards the fall. They start putting together their capital market assumptions. That's when we start doing our research.
Yeah, so every 6 months they do this? Okay.
No, they do it annually, but they start the work on it, the research. Our team starts working on it in the fall, and then in January, in time for our investment committee meeting, that's when we'll have the capital market assumptions for 2021. And, so that's something that, this is always a work in progress.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's just get right to your returns, and I'm going to update you a little bit too, because we have had better performance. Slide 32, where the rubber hits the road. Your profile slide, it's 32. Yep, great, thank you. And you can see these are your returns. Your market value at the end of March was 118 million. The returns are all net of fees, so that quarterly return of negative 9.9 that I showed you for the PRIT fund translates to negative 10.07 net of fees for the 1 quarter and of course calendar year to date. The negative 1.2% gross that I showed you for the PRIT fund translates into negative 1.7% for the 1 year, so about 50 basis point difference there, net versus gross. But I think it's really important to look at that inception number, July 185 is when you came in. And like I said, you've been participating in most of PRIT's returns from that time on, from our almost close to our inception. and 8.5% net of fees. Still a very, very strong inception return. I did say that I would give you a little sense as to what's going on in the markets right now. We have seen a big comeback in the S&P 500. As of June 16th, I don't have the 17th, it was down slightly yesterday, the S&P, but quarter to date, the S&P is up 21.4%, bringing the calendar year to date return for the S&P to negative 2.4 as of Tuesday. The large cap stocks, have been doing well, but it's really the small and mid cap stocks that have been very strong performers in this most recent quarter. The Russell 2500, for example, which is a small and mid cap stock index, is up 28% for the quarter to date. Russell 2000 is up 26, which is all small caps. But calendar year to date, they're still behind. You saw how deeply negative those returns were for those particular type of equities. Russell 2500 still down 10% for the year. Russell 2500 is down 12%. International stocks in emerging markets have also rebounded, but are still pretty negative for the year and have been underperforming U.S. stocks. Bonds, they're quarter to date. The winners, the U.S. Treasuries, the long duration bonds, as yields have kind of clipped up or clicked up. Quarter to date, Treasuries are down. The long duration Treasuries are down 4%, but are up almost 25% on a calendar year to date basis. Investment grade bonds are up about 2.5% quarter to date, and about 5.7 for the calendar year. High yield bonds have also seen a comeback. U.S. credit is up 4.5%. That's corporate credit, but the lower yielding assets are they're up quarter to date, still a lagging for the calendar year. So I think all in all, we're in pretty good shape in terms of where we're at today. You will be getting your performance for May today. I will tell you this, that for the month of May, the fund was up 2.2%, bringing our calendar year to date return, and this is all gross of fees, negative 3.7% or negative 3.8% for the calendar year to date. Up 6.2% for the 1 year, and over the 10-year, remember that as of March 31, we were up 7.5%. Over the 10-year period now, as of May 31, the fund is up 8.73 for the 10-year period. So you can see in this very short period of time, things have come back. And you'll get this performance summary that I'm referring to right now in your statements today. So I'll stop there and see if there are any more questions. Be happy to answer them.
I'm good. Doing a great job there, Paul.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I've already stated my piece, but all in all, I still think that Wakefield going into the PRIT fund back in '85 was the best thing we ever did. Thank you, John McCarthy.
Yes, John McCarthy, yep. And I was there.
Oh, were you?
Oh, I was there, all right. I was there from the beginning. Yeah. I know I don't look it, but So, all right.
Any other questions, guys? Are we all set with Paul? Sherry, you're good?
I am good, Paul. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's great to see you all. I hope we can see each other in person at some point.
I know.
Yeah,
And
someday.
Emily, thank you for joining us also.
Oh, thank you.
Joe and Dennis, you all set with Paul?
I'm all set.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
All right, Paul,
Thank
thank you. Thank you, Emily.
Bye.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Glad to be
Thank-
here.
Thank you. Stay well, everyone.
All right,
Take care.
take care, Paul.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye.
Thanks. All set, moving on to item 5, board minutes for our May 21st, 2020 meeting. We'll go around the board. Actually, can I get a motion first to accept?
I motion to approve the May 21st, 2020 board minutes.
The second?
I second.
And the
Was that you,
seconds?
Dennis?
Yep.
Okay.
Dennis. We'll go around the table. Dan Sherman, anything on minutes?
No, I have to abstain on the vote.
Abstain.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Someone missed
Yeah.
that meeting. Sherry, you good on the
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah, I'm all set. Thank you.
Joe, you're all set?
Is Joe still with us?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I had you on mute. Can you hear me?
Yep.
You
Yep.
can.
All
You're
set.
good? All set? Dennis, you're all set?
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor? Dan, not Dan Sherman, Sherry,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
and I am an I. Item 6, cash book for April 2020. Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Sherry?
Second, Sherry.
Discussion, Dan Sherman, anything on cash book?
Yeah, I was interested to hear what, obviously this is April 30th, and we got climbed back up to 123 million from the 118. And May, we're probably up into the, 127, 128 range, that would be my guess. So Kevin, to your point, we're going to be down from year end.
Right,
We were down, 16 million. It's probably going to be, as of today, it may only be down, 4 or 5 million. So at most.
climbing
probably
back,
less
yeah.
than that. Yeah, because what he said, 2% down for the year. So, yeah, so that's only $2.5 million. So
Yeah.
a nice recovery. But
Yes.
other than that, I think everything else is fine.
Sounds good. Sherry, cash book, anything?
No, all set.
Joe, anything on cash book?
No, sir. All set.
Dennis, cash book?
All set.
All set. I am all set. We have a motion. We had a second. Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis.
Aye.
I am an aye. Item 7, monthly budget for May 2020. No vote, but I'll go around the table, see if there's any questions or concerns. Dan Sherman.
I was going to ask about the, let's see, where is it? Legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's page, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking we had spent some money so far on Michael, but not $25. So I'm just year to date. So where is this 25? Is this our annual fee or a monthly fee for Michael? What's the $75?
If there is something that happens, a PERAC decision or anything like that, Michael will do his opinion and he will spread it throughout all the retirement boards that he belongs to. And there's a $25 cost per each retirement board.
Got it.
There was one, was it last meeting or the meeting prior?
I think it was last meeting. Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was regarding, but that's the one.
Okay. And then we now have benefits for 3,000. Explain that.
That is the cost for my health insurance and my Medicare and the life insurance. That's the town's portion, not my cost.
So this has been zero
Right, we started January 1st at transferring this. It should have been, I guess, transferred all along, and we've never done it.
Oh, it has been transferred.
No,
It
no,
hasn't.
it's not.
Okay, okay. So is this Kevin's doing?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So when are you going to do this for the schools and workers' comp?
Ooh,
Yeah, I wish I could.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish I
Okay, that's it for me.
could. Sounds good. Sherry, anything on budget?
No, monthly budget looks good.
Okay. Dennis, sorry, Joe, anything on budget?
No, sir.
Dennis, anything on budget?
All set.
I am all set. Moving on to item 8, legal counsel, the role of Attorney Michael Sacco for the Town of Wakefield Retirement Board. We had discussed this at last meeting. Sherry, did you want to further discuss this item?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we brought this up last meeting. There was an agenda item on last meeting, and it wasn't a Michael Sacco agenda item. It happened to be a Tom Mullen one. So that ensued a discussion on the role of Michael Sacco.
So I think with regards to that last item that Tom Mullen was working on, that was the call police officers, I think it was, some time between what someone was looking for and what the town of Woburn or city of Woburn was allowing. I think that predated us using Michael Sacco. So I think that was the reason Tom Mullen was involved. But I think we had discussed as a board that we're trying to move away from Tom Mullen and use Michael where Michael's expertise is in Chapter 32. So I think we just wanted to get the full board aware of that, and if there were any questions or concerns. And then also, I know we talked about we would pick and choose, the board would pick and choose what gets sent to Michael. And sometimes that creates a little bit of a time lag. And I think Kathy's been in this business long enough that, you know, if she has questions or concerns about a matter that, you know, maybe needs Michael's services, you know, I'm not opposed to letting Kathy make that decision. That, you know, if Kathy has a question, I'm sure I'd have the same question too. Just the thoughts of the board to let Kathy make some of the decisions, or the decisions that if she gets something that she's questioning, it's fine that she sends that off to Michael, and just keeps the board apprised of what she's sending him and what the correspondence going back and forth between our board and Michael is. So I'd like to open that up to the board, your thoughts or concerns with doing something like that. We'll go around the table. Dan, any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I like the flexibility of being able to go to either Tom or to Michael, depending upon the nature of the question at hand. And I know Kathy doesn't hesitate. She'll bug me on stuff where, for example, if we get a qualified domestic relations order, she'll send it off to me and I'll take a look at it. And I would count, you know, Michael and Tom in that same bucket. Is when Kathy sees something that says, geez, here's a question, who would be the best person to ask? And for her to go ahead and ask that person the question, I think it's perfectly fine. If it's something that Tom can handle, then send it to Tom. If it's something we want to bring in Mike in, then that's fine too. It's, you know, as long as, you know, she informs us at some point, or at least talks to Kevin about it. So if Kevin says, yeah, go ahead, you know, call Michael on something, Yeah, I like the flexibility. I like to have the additional tools in our toolbox. Obviously, there's a fee with Michael where there wouldn't be with Tom, but that should not stop at all asking the right person on a question. I would hope that we don't consider fees. If you say, geez, I don't want to ask Michael because he's going to charge something, but if he's the best person to ask the question, it's probably cheaper in the long run. So I would encourage, Kathy to use all the tools that are available and not really worry about where the fee is going to be.
Sounds good. All set there, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sherry, your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have total faith and trust in Kathy, and would agree with her using Michael as she sees fit. I do have a different viewpoint on having two counsels, so to say, where Tom Mullen has been very vocal in saying that he does not know Chapter 32. It is such a different animal. So my vote or my recommendation would be to, just solely use Michael for anything that Kathy has any questions on it. And she's been very good, as Dan says, about reaching out. Kathy has reached out to me many times, about different things with my opinion. I totally have faith and trust in her.
Okay, so it's something like that we'll basically leave that up to Kathy, that there could be something that falls outside of Chapter 32 that Kathy may have a question on. And if something like that, she may seek Tom Mullen's advice. So I think ultimately, leaving it up to Kathy to make that decision on, if it's Chapter 32, we'd probably want to use Michael, and I think Kathy would know that. So I think, leaving it at Kathy's discretion and not saying, it has to be, but, we'll just leave it to Kathy's discretion. Does that sound fine?
Yeah, I was going to say sort of the same thing. Sometimes we get questions, legal questions that are not Chapter 32, and it may be appropriate to use Tom for those where it's not a 32 question.
I would prefer that Kathy, if it was a Chapter 32 question, that I'd prefer that she uses Michael Sacco, but, to say only, I'd rather leave it to Kathy's discretion.
And here we are talking about Kathy. She's sitting, she's sitting right here. But I just want to say to that, if Kathy has any legal questions, she has also reached out to the legal department at PEREC. So she has used them also. So
Sure.
I think we have other,
Other resources, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whatever resource Kathy thinks best, I think, for whatever situation arises, then that way it doesn't put her in a corner to say, she can't go here or there because we decided one way or the other. So I think leaving it, whatever the situation is, to Kathy's discretion would probably be the best option. So, Sherry, you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Joe, like to add anything on that?
No, I'm good with that. I just had one question. When situations or questions come up, will we be able to see what the issue is, what the question that Kathy asks of, whether it be Mike Sacco or Tom Mullen, and then obviously we'll be able to see the answer or the guidance they're giving us prior to, the meetings or anything like that? Is that something that we'll be notified of, the board? You know, so if there's an issue and Kathy reaches out to Mike Sacco, will we know what the issue is, what the questions Kathy asks of Mike, and then what Mike's answer is? Or is that,
Yes. No,
you know,
no,
how would that be? Okay.
that as situations arise that, you know, if it's 2 or 3 weeks before a meeting, you know, at the following meeting, Kathy would apprise the board of what's being asked or what's being answered with regards to
Okay.
legal issues.
Okay. No, I'm fine
Sound
with
good? Dennis, you all set
Yeah.
with this?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Kathy, how about you? You sound good?
I'm good.
All right. On something like this, do you think we need to vote, or do we just want to leave it here? Sherry, your thoughts? You think we need to
My
vote on this?
thoughts is it probably should be in the minutes.
Oh, the minutes, yeah, I would agree with the minutes, but I'm not sure we need a vote.
Okay. All right. So it's in the, we'll note it in the minutes that the board is all in favor of this discussion. Anything else on this matter? Or can we move on? Dan, you all set?
Yep,
Sherry, all set?
All set.
Joe, you all set?
Yes, sir.
Dennis, all set?
All set.
I'm good. Moving on, item 9, the 2021 redemption and monthly maintenance balance. This is an item that we do every year. And each year we usually bump it up a little bit. Kathy, anything different on this this request?
Nope, I take the deaths of the prior year and the new retirees of the past year, add the COLA, and the increase is approximately 25,000. So I've increased the monthly maintenance amount by 25,000.
Sounds good. Can I get a motion to accept?
so moved.
Is there a
Second, Sherry.
Second.
Discussion? Dan Sherman, discussion.
None.
Terry, discussion.
No.
Joe, discussion.
None.
Dennis,
None.
I'm all set. So motion to accept, Dan Sherman,
Yes,
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I am an aye. Item 10, annual town meeting. This is an FYI. I'm assuming June 20th, 2020, 9 a.m. At the high school field house.
9 to 9.
I hope not.
oh God, no, no way, no way.
Dan Chairman, any questions on this item?
Oh God, I got so many questions on this item. It's,
Uh,
and none of them are going to be answered till we get there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sherry, anything?
Yeah, just I know the charter, I believe, states that department heads need to be present at town meeting. This year is a little different with having COVID join us. And I know Steve has, he's reached out to me and said, you know, I got the pass, so I won't be there Saturday, but I just think that we should give or leave that up to Kathy, whether she wants to join also. And I know, Dan, at the beginning of the meeting, you said you would be attending, and Kevin, I'm pretty sure you're attending on Saturday.
Yeah, fortunately.
Yeah, I know. So I know I know the retirement board is well represented, having two quite knowledgeable members going to be there. So I just would think that we could have Kathy make her own decision on whether she feels comfortable and safe, you know, being in a potentially, Steve Mayo was thinking, he made me make 400 recommendation books. I really don't, not quite sure we're gonna see 400 people, but
Oh, God.
We'll be lucky to get 200.
that's what I said, Steve, on a Saturday during the summer. I said, if it's nice out, they're going to the beach.
I'll be happy with 50.
Yeah. So I just kind of, I wouldn't want to, demand Kathy's presence there if she, we don't know everybody's, medical history, not saying that Kathy has any issues, but just, leaving that up to the person if she or he wants to be in attendance.
Yeah, I'd echo that, Sherry, that, I will be at town meeting, Dan will be at town meeting. I think the Wakefield Retirement Board will be well represented. Dennis sometimes is there, usually there, and Joe.
Unfortunately, I will not be Saturday. I'm going to be, I have an association meeting at
Lucky
9
you.
up in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well,
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
How convenient.
I know.
but the board, our board will still be well represented. So Kathy I think we should leave it up to Kathy.
Yeah,
That-
thank you. I agree too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're not sponsoring any articles.
No.
And the only question is our budget, and the budget's that'll be approved. So I don't see any questions that are going to pop up. And if somebody did ask a question, our town moderator will quickly say it's outside the four corners of the article. So
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to Kathy. If
Yeah.
she wants to come, fine. If she doesn't
Yeah.
want to, I think Sherry's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
And if
good.
there's any questions, I feel totally comfortable with having Dan speak, or you, Kevin. So I'm totally comfortable with that.
Yeah, I like it when Dan speaks.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good on item. So Kathy,
Yes.
you're fine with that?
Yes,
It's up to
thank
you. You're more than welcome to attend, but if not, we have you covered. Moving on to item 11, intent to retire. We will vote these. 11A, Donnie Snyder, DPW, 36 years, 8 months. Kathy, anything special about this?
Nothing special.
Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Sherry, second.
Second discussion. Dan, any discussion?
Nope.
Sherry?
No, all set.
Joe?
No.
Dennis?
Nope.
Only thing, thank you, Donnie Snyder. I am all set. All in favor, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I am an aye. 11B, Catherine Leofanti, School Department, 13 years, 9 months. Kathy, anything special?
Nothing special.
Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion, Dan Sherman,
Nope.
discussion, Sherry,
No.
discussion, Joe,
No.
discussion, Dennis.
Negative.
I am all set. Motion to accept, Dan Sherman. I'm
Aye.
sorry. Aye. Sherry.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
I am an aye. 11C, John or Jack Roberto, Building Department, 26 years, 3 months. Kathy, anything special?
Nothing special.
Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion. Dan.
Yeah, Jack's going to be missed. I'm bummed that he's retiring because he's been a great asset for the town. He will be missed, but that's my only thoughts.
Sherry, anything?
Yeah, Kathy, for these three, we're direct deposit, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, just wanted to
Wow.
make sure.
Everybody going forward.
Perfect.
Yes, just wanted to make sure.
We're down to
Absolutely.
only 2 people anyway.
Right, that's really good.
Direct deposit yet. One I've never heard from, the other one I've heard from many times, and he's kind of like refusing.
Okay, sure.
Keep working on it.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll work on
he
it.
will like it when his check gets shut off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Jack will be missed. Donnie will be missed. Catherine will be missed. But we do have a really, really, really good building inspector who will be joining the team. So that's very exciting. Yeah.
Who is that?
That will be announced Monday night at the town council meeting.
Oh, cool.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Joe, anything on, I'm sorry, Sherry, you all set?
I am all set. Thank you.
Joe, anything, discussion?
No, sir.
Dennis, anything?
Nope.
I am all set. Echo the thoughts. Jack will be missed. So for approval, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Dennis.
Aye.
I am an aye. Moving on, item 12, new members. 12A, Robert Peterson, Police Department, Group 4, starting June 15th. Kathy, anything special?
No, nothing special.
Can I get a motion to accept?
Yeah, I'll move, but for new members, can we vote en masse, or do we have to vote for each person individually?
Well, there's only one.
I understand that, there's one, but I'm just thinking in general.
We've always done it individually because everybody's a different group. And you have to approve the group by approving the member.
Got it. Okay, I'll move approval.
Second, Sherry.
Second.
We have a motion, second discussion, go around the table. Dan Sherman,
None.
Sherry,
Kathy, so when you signed up Peterson and also when you did the retirement paperwork, I'm assuming everything was a Zoom meeting or a telephone
Or
call?
a phone call, yeah.
Okay, and how did
Done via Zoom or a phone call.
and that worked out good?
Go ahead.
And that
Yeah,
worked
it's
out
been
good?
working
Yeah.
out fine.
Perfect. Okay, great.
all set, Sherry?
All set.
Joe, anything, discussion?
No.
Dennis, anything?
Nope.
I am all set. The vote, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Item 13, moving on, monthly refunds, 13A, Danielle Sanford, School Department, 2 years, no months. Kathy, anything special?
Nothing special.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Second. Discussion, Dan Sherman.
Nothing.
Discussion, Sherry.
Nothing.
Discussion, Joe.
Nothing.
Discussion, Dennis.
Nothing.
I am all set. The vote, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis.
Aye.
I am an aye. Item 14, contract for the executive director. It's expiring December 31st, 2020. It only seems like yesterday we did this. I'll put it out there. I think Dan Sherman and Phil worked on it last time.
Yeah.
So I have some volunteers to participate in working on a new contract for the executive director, which is Kathy.
And how many members are you?
I think we had 2 last time. I think it was just
Two?
Dan and Phil.
Well, I'll do it again.
All right.
What is this for? I'm kind of new, so I'm new to the board, so I don't.
Kathy has a 3-year contract where she's not covered by any particular union. So she does her own contract with the board.
Oh.
So this is like negotiating with, last time she negotiated with Dan and Phil, brought it back to the board, and then the board voted the contract.
Oh, okay. thank you for the clarification. I just didn't know what it meant.
Yep. All right, so we got Dan, Sherry.
Yeah, I'll volunteer. Sure.
Sounds good. So you two can work out with Kathy, questions, concerns, and sometime later this year, we can see if we can wrap this up. Good with you, Dan?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Okay, sounds good. Kathy, good with that?
I'm good.
Sound good? Moving on. Item 15, matters not anticipated for the agenda. Dan Sherman, anything?
yeah. One thing and this is just a curiosity. I don't recall the last time we had 0 correspondence. Right? Is this, I
Yeah.
mean, this is for real? We had nothing? Wow.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's always something in the correspondence.
Always something. Yeah, I agree.
Kind of weird, but
Yeah.
no, I'm all set.
Sherry, anything? Matters not anticipated.
Oh, no, nothing. All set.
All set. Joe, anything?
No, sir.
Dennis, anything?
Nope.
Kathy, anything?
No.
I am all set. Item 16, announcements, acknowledgements. Dan Sherman, do you have anything?
Nope.
Sherry?
Nothing.
Joe?
Nothing.
Dennis?
I got nothing.
I am all set. Kathy, anything?
Nothing.
Very good. Item 17, warrants. 17A, staff payroll, May 3rd, 2020, in the amount of $12,980.40. Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion. Dan Sherman, anything?
Nothing.
Sherry, anything?
Nothing.
Joe, anything?
Nothing.
Dennis, anything?
I got nothing.
I'm all set. Kathy, nothing special?
Nothing special.
Okay, the vote, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I'm an aye. 17B, non-contrib payroll for May 4th, 2020, in the amount of $5,310.12. Kathy, anything special?
Nothing special.
Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion, Dan Sherman,
Nothing.
Sherry,
Nothing.
Joe,
Nothing.
Dennis,
Nothing.
I'm all set. Dan Sherman, vote.
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I am an aye. Contrib payroll, May 5th, 2020, in the amount of $941,640.35. Kathy, anything special?
Nothing special.
Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion, Dan Sherman,
Nothing.
Sherry,
Nothing.
Joe,
Nothing.
Dennis,
I got nothing.
I am an aye. The vote, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I am an aye. 17D, accounts payable warrants, June 1st, 2020, in the amount of $13,519.31. Kathy, anything special?
Nothing.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion, Dan Sherman,
Nothing.
Sherry,
Nothing.
Joe,
Nothing.
Dennis,
Nothing.
I am all set. The vote, Dan Sherman,
Aye.
Sherry,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
I am an aye. Item 18, next board meeting, Thursday, July 16th, 2020, 8 a.m. Dan, you all set with that date?
Oh, I'm good.
You're
Send
good.
me a reminder.
Sherry, you're
As
good?
always. Yes, all set.
Joe, you all set with that date?
Yes, sir.
Dennis, you're good?
Yep.
Excellent. Moving on, we are all set. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, Sherry.
Discussion, anything? Dan,
Nope.
Sherry,
Nothing.
Joe,
Nothing. That next meeting, that will be the same way. We're not going to meet in person, correct? Unless
Right,
something
it will be
changes.
Zoom. Yeah, it'll
Okay.
be Zoom. Yeah.
Dennis, anything?
All set.
I am all set. Thank you, everyone. Did we vote this? Or was
Did
was that
we vote?
discussion? Dan Sherman, to
We have to get to
adjourn,
roll
yes.
call.
Dan Sherman.
Yeah, let's adjourn.
Okay, Sherry,
Yes.
Joe,
All set. I vote yes.
sounds good. Dennis,
Yep. All set.
I'm all set. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
High five.